Hi, and welcome to our off the record B side. Get it? B side, like the flip side, like the other side. Like not this side we normally do. This is the other side of the off the record sides. Side
So this week on Off the Record B-Side, we're going to be looking at the 80s, which is awesome. We're going to look at our top 10 favorite 80s songs, and we're going to look at our favorite 80s album, the two worst songs of the 80s, and the 80s song that sort of encompasses the whole 80s. And it's always from 1980 to 1989.
All we know is each other's top 10, but not in order. We don't know favorite album or worst, but we're trying to guess what a lot of the music might be. Plus, we're picking our favorites from each other's because it's all legendary, nostalgic 80s. And Bill and I were both of that decade, although I look a lot younger than Bill.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Especially today with that beautiful 80s eyeshadow. Okay, so don't forget, Nikki and I have very different taste in music no matter what decade we're in.
Very
Very different. So let's get started with our 80s top 10. And Nikki, what is your number 10?
So my number 10 is from 1983, and it's from the Eurythmics, and it's called Sweet Dreams. And I love that song. It's so cool. It reminds me of dancing in the clubs, and her voice was so cool, and she was so different, and I loved it. A lot of my 80s tunes that I like are from the early part of the 80s.
My number 10 is from 1985, and it is The Cure with the song Close to Me.
Okay.
In the 80s, I always their Cure were okay, but I really got into The Cure later on and still love The Cure. This song is my favorite Cure song. I like the little breathy backing vocals. I like the kind of dark claustrophobic lyrics, the little clappy dance. It's got a good rhythm to it. And I really like the jazzy horns at the end. They're kind of like acid jazz. They go a little crazy. I'm not a big fan of horns normally, but the horns in this are sort of psychedelic, insane, nutso.
My number 9 is from 1984, and it's Prince, and it's Purple Rain. Yeah, so I love that song. I thought it was epic. A lot of the songs that I liked were epic. I thought Prince was so interesting and different. A lot of the songs I chose remind me either of some certain moment or just were really sort of pivotal moments for me in, where I was at.
He was a star for sure, right? Prince.
Yeah.
So talented. I was never a big fan of Prince, but I certainly can appreciate how talented the guy was, for sure. My number 9 is from 1985, and it's by a band called Yellow, and the song is Let Me Cry. I love the screams. I love the train. I love the chicken guitar that's in there. I just think it's an awesome song, and there's so much going on, especially when you have headphones on. There's so much of the train going around you through the whole song. So it's a lonely, sad song with little quiet, little sinister vocals on it, like whispery vocals. But it wasn't one of my favorite bands of all time, but certainly I liked a lot of Yellow songs back in the 80s.
I love that you had such an eclectic taste. Your songs that you picked were so eclectic, Did
you think so?
Yeah. For sure. My number 8 song was U2, With or Without You. And I don't really need to preface these with much to people, big songs. This was all my 80s. I loved U2. Sort of, I felt like it was really hard rock, anthem rock, edge. I loved With or Without You. Was kind of a love song, Yeah. But they were super political and tried to change the landscape, and probably did change the landscape a bit for music, I think. And this, naturally, With or Without You, was produced by Daniel Lanois, which I think is really interesting because, he seems to be in a lot of my favorite songs.
My number 8 is from 1984, and it's the Cocteau Twins with a song called Lorelei. I love the Cocteau Twins, one of my favorite bands of all time, for sure. But I like this song. I like the drums a lot, but I really like the guitar. It sounds like almost like a British police siren, but a quiet version of that in the background, and then turns into this sort of carnival sound halfway through the song. I just think they're really everything they do is kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
And this song is very magical to me.
And it was the Cocteau Twins was so ethereal, right?
Oh yeah, otherworldly. There's very few bands that get to that point.
Yeah. Okay, my number 7 song is from 1981, and it's Phil Collins, "In the Air Tonight."
No, number 1 to me.
Really? You
Yeah.
No.
I did. Oh well.
But I do love that song, and I love the whole, and everybody knows that story about he said he saw somebody being killed in a boat, somebody was murdered, and then he saw it happen. And that song is so like, I don't know, like, I got you. I'll always have you. I can't believe you did it.
I didn't know that. I thought it was like angry cheater love or something. I didn't know.
No, it was like somebody being murdered.
Oh, nice.
Funny.
Oh, the 80s, eh?
Yeah.
Awesome. So my number 7 is from 1988, and it is the Dead Milkmen with "Punk Rock Girl."
Okay.
I love this song. I've always loved this song. This is my karaoke song for sure, because you don't really have to sing it, which is awesome. The lyrics are really funny and fun, and it's still kind of sentimental at the same time. Like, you can tell it's this nerdy guy going to this, what's the name of the club? I took a walk to Zipperhead and met a girl there. She almost knocked me dead. He meets he's a nerdy guy meeting this cool underground girl, and kind of takes him on this adventure where he's, throwing tantrums in restaurants and yelling at her father and stealing cars. And even the guitar solo is really like a nerdy guy playing a guitar solo for a girl or something. It's just, I love this song so much. And the video is awesome too.
All right.
Okay. My number 6 was from 1985. And you already had this band in your list. So it's from The Cure, and it's "In Between Days." And
Yeah.
I love that song. I love that
It's a good
song.
song.
It's number 6 out of my list of 10. But like, I like so many songs I like of The Cure. I like what you picked. I like a lot of them. But like, I love "In Between Days."
Okay, my number 6 is from 1986, and it is the German band Kraftwerk
Oh.
with the song "Electric Cafe." This song, it almost sounds bubbly, the computers in this song. It just sort of takes you into the future, as Kraftwerk does a lot, and it's a really cool kind of groovy beat to it as well. And I love the vocals, I love the lyrics, I just love everything about this song. Very futuristic, kind of takes you away, lots of
Yeah.
atmosphere.
My number 5 song is from 1984, and it's from Wham. It's "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go." And I love that song. I used to dance to aerobics to this song.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And it was just made me so happy, and it still makes me happy. And I've spent like many a day just grooving out to this song and being so happy and dancing around my own room. A song makes me so happy.
Yeah, I really thought, because I was checking all the dates just to make sure everything is from the 80s, because we found a couple that weren't. And I thought that was going to be really early 80s, and you were going to be a little kid when you liked that song. That's what I kept thinking. I can see you dancing with a hairbrush in your bedroom or something.
84.
84, like it wasn't. But yeah, it was a fun song for sure.
Yeah.
It's a great fun song. So my number 5 is from 1987, and it is the Smiths with a song called "Ask." I love the Smiths. We did a whole show on the Smiths. Check it out. It's really good on Meet His Murder. This is my favorite Smiths single for sure of all time. I like it because it's the happy Morrissey song. He's actually singing, there's nothing gloom and doom in this song. It's just like he wants to take chances and meet people and have a life. But he's also stuck inside writing poetry on a nice day, which is the only Morrissey you're going to get out of the song. I love the guitar. I like that the producer, Steve Lillywhite, was married to Christy McCall, who he got to do backing vocals on it. And I kept thinking, the Smiths sounds so much better with Christy McCall singing backup vocals. Why don't they use her all the time?
Yeah.
Just to sort of balance it out, right? And make it
Yeah.
more poppy. But I think that's why I really like this song. I like when they sing together.
Okay, number 4. My number 4 song is from 1981, so early 80s, and it's Queen and David Bowie, and it's "Under Pressure." And I freaking love this song, actually. I mean, Freddie Mercury, David Bowie, Brian May, Roger Taylor, like, just, it's so good, you know? It's such a great song, and the music's great, and the vocals are great, and the everything about it's great. Yeah, I love this song.
My number 4 is an early one from 1981, and it is Kate Bush with Sat in Your Lap. Sat in Your Lap, I remember seeing that, and I'd never heard music like that. And it was really the drums at the beginning. And later on in life, I would come to love the Kodo drummers of Japan, which have that same sort of sound as the song intros.
Oh.
She's got the piano that's sort of galloping through with that weird disco kind of beat thing that happens, but it sounds like all through the song.
Yeah.
But I like the whispery vocals and then the screaming choruses and all the crazy kind of Omanesque opera going on in the background all the time. I just think that's a cool song. And I like a lot of...
I'm not a Kate Bush fan, actually, as you know. But that's a cool song by her, so.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I like kind of crazy music too, more than soft, lovey-dovey stuff, right?
That's right. Speaking of soft, lovey-dovey, 1987, Robbie Robertson, Somewhere Down the Crazy River. And I love this song so much. All these songs, actually, from the 80s, I'm like, I love it. And I thought this was a super sexy song. It was so romantic for me. Again, Daniel Lanois is the producer, and he put guitar in it. I know, he's all over it.
Did you just find that out, too?
I just found that out.
That was the only song you had on your list that I wasn't, like, super familiar with. And then when you said it wasn't in the air tonight, that was my second choice for your number 1.
It was?
I'm so off with you. I'm so off.
That's okay. That's okay.
My number 3 song is from 1986, and it is The Cramps with the Hot Pearl Match, which was a single. I remember going to see The Cramps many times. First time I saw them, they played this song. I'd never heard it because it was not as easy to get music back then, especially from weird bands. And I was like, what's this song? This is the coolest song I've ever heard in my life. And I still think that, which is great. But I love Poison Ivy is the guitarist, and she plays very kind of almost trashy surf, horror, punk guitar, always distorted. And I love watching her play. It's the most awesome thing in the world. But I just think the song is really fun. And we used it in our show, our comedy show.
And it also has a cool album cover. I always remember that. That was my second pick for your top song, but I think I got your top song anyway.
Okay.
Number 2, my number 2 song, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it. Almost embarrassed. But I love it.
Don't be embarrassed.
I know. So,
what is it?
1982, John Cougar, It's Jack and Diane.
Oh, yes.
Love it. I love that song. I love the story. It's so rock and roll.
It is.
So rock and roll. There is a huge part of me that's still so rock and roll.
Yeah.
I think it like really just I think that was it felt like my childhood, you know, like in the backseat of cars with boys, for sure. Like, I'm not saying I was slutty, but I'm just saying maybe there were some of those moments. And it just sort of, I love this sort of hip snaps in it. Like there were some real snappy chords it would sort of hit hard, and I know I loved it.
So my number 2 is from 1980, and it is the B-52s with Private Idaho. I love the B-52s, so again, a hard choice for me. But this is for sure my favorite B-52 song. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. I love the surf guitar in it. I love the Hanna-Barbera kind of bass beat going in it. But the thing about the B-52s too is, I mean, they're fun. They're a little wacky, right? But they are also a bit dark and a bit sinister with their lyrics. Like they're talking about the pool full of strangers and the hidden driveway and the radium clock, which is the radioactive, it's an old Idaho thing where people were dying from radiation poisoning. Like, it's kind of a dark song. To me, it was always about an introvert trying to have fun. But it's just a great song to dance to. I love that song. It's time for our number 1 picks. So, Nikki, what is your number one song of the 80s?
Okay, it's going to be from 1983, and it's The Police, and it's King of Pain.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I love that song, and I love Sting. And The Police was my first concert ever. I went with James Durham, who I went to prom with. I love The Police. I love that. And I think there's songs I might like more than King of Pain, but from the 80s, that's my favorite one.
Okay, so let me tell you, that was, we're supposed to pick a song that we like, that we sort of haven't listened to in a long time, that you put on your list, and that was the song I picked. So I thought it was a really cool song. I kind of like The Police again. It's
okay.
Cool.
Okay, good. I'm glad it was my number one then.
Yeah. So my number one song.
Did I interrupt you?
Huh?
Sure.
Obviously, it's Siouxsie and the Banshees, Spellbound.
Siouxsie and the Banshees, Spellbound from 1981. This song, the first time I heard it, I'd never heard music like this before. And I was literally transfixed by this song. I love her vocals, the lyrics are incredible. The guitarist, they just got a new guitarist who was from Magazine, who was a brilliant guitarist, John McGeoch. Budgie with his tribal drums, and the bassist Steve just kind of playing the ghoulish bass at the intro. But I always liked this song because it was kind of like a youth rebellion song to me.
Yeah.
Take your elders by the legs and throw them down the stairs. The greatest line ever in music history to me. But it sounded like, it had the 12-string acoustic and the picking electric at the same time. It's just an awesome song.
Yeah.
It just felt like, Siouxsie finally got someone who could play what was actually going on in her head. So it was kind of cool, that whole album and that song. Yeah. It's still my favorite song of all time. For sure.
Yeah, I love it. I love that song too. It's a great song.
Do you?
I love Siouxsie and the Banshees. Yeah, for sure. I'm not like you. That's for sure.
Anybody is.
Okay, now it's time to get to our favorite album. Each of us picked our most favorite album from the 80s. Why don't we start with you, Bill?
Okay. So mine is Siouxsie and the Banshees, but it's not the album that Spellbound comes from, even though that's probably my second favorite. It is the album right after that, the fifth studio album. And it's called A Kiss in the Dream House. And it is, as far as my musical taste goes, the epitome of dark psychedelic pop music. It has every kind of instrument going on. It was mostly done in the studio, but it's just really eclectic. And it's all kind of songs about love and lust and sex and obsession. And it's just a really cool album. So that's my number one.
I'm not surprised by that choice of yours at all.
I know. I'm pretty predictable with 80s.
That's okay. Okay. 1984. Should I say the album or the... Okay. So the album is Who Man 4 Says, and it's Lisa Del Bello.
That's your favorite album?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh my God. I would never have a clue.
Yeah. Oh God. I love that album so much.
It's a great album.
I listened 100 times over every single song. I loved her voice, the words, her message. It was all about empowerment. I had this moment on a mountain in Greece, actually, where I was like, this song of just sobbing. Everything about it, like her Gonna Get Close to You, She Pretends, Animal. There's so many songs I love on that. I loved it all. And I just loved her. I think she changed the course of my life, for sure. That's weird to say.
Wow.
For sure. I really just was like, oh, I'm going to be empowered. I'm going to do what I want. If I don't want to do this, I'm not doing it anymore. And I'm going to live my life how I want to live my life. So it was really huge album for me.
Yeah. Cool. That's a really cool choice. I would never have guessed that. Okay. So now is the time where we have to pick our two worst songs of the 80s, the two we do not like and maybe still don't like. But let's find out. I can't wait. Nikki, give me one of your songs from the 80s that you did not like.
One of the songs I hated the most was Never Gonna Give You Up. Never gonna let you go without you. I think that's the one. Hate it.
It's huge, wasn't it? Huge.
Yeah. But I can just tell you my most hated.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, I hate this song so much. Was Come On Eileen.
Oh yeah?
I
love that song.
You do?
I did. I loved it.
So it's by Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Yeah.
And the really like funniest thing, I was like looking for my word. It's from 1982. Yeah.
But I always, that sounds a little obnoxious, but I kind of liked it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what are yours? What are yours?
I might be Scottish. So my two are starting with what year is that? I didn't write the year down. I think, it's 1989. We Built This City on Rock and Roll by Starship. A song about, organic rock and roll being taken away at clubs made on synthesizers with drum machines. And I'm like, what? There's no rock and roll in this song? And I'm like, this, you know what it sounded like? It sounded like a fake band on Saved by the Bell. That's what it sounded like to me. Like they're just doing this. We're Saved by the Bell, and this is our song. Horrible. The worst song of the 80s to me, and there was a lot, but I came up with 1989 Billy Joel, We Didn't Start the Fire. That song, oh my God.
That song.
It's got to be one of the worst lyrically written songs ever, but it just seemed like, he's trying so hard to be political and saying these crazy, and it's just like the dumbest, nonsensical, nothing song. Like,
it's funny
of the
because I did like a lot of Billy Joel, actually. That was,
Me too.
But like, not that one.
So Nikki and I are now going to get to our all-encompassing great song of the 80s. It can't be from our top 10, but it has to sort of give the spirit, the essence of the 80s. And we think we might even have the same song. So Nikki, give me a clue to what your song might be.
But we don't know.
We don't know.
Mine was also the theme to a movie.
Me too. Is it Simple Minds? Don't You Forget About Me?
Yes,
oh my God, of course,
That's
right?
hilarious.
That's hilarious. We both picked the same one.
Then that's it. Then that's the song.
Yeah.
Of course, that's the song.
Were you reading about it as well?
1985.
But it is, right? As soon as you hear those opening notes, like it's just, he takes you right there.
And it was the Breakfast Club, and it's Scottish rock. It's Scottish rock. Like, it's so interesting. It's because the movie. It's because of the movie.
Yeah. But it takes you back immediately as soon as you hear it, no matter where you are, right? You're back there.
I love that we picked the same one. That's such a great song.
That's so funny.
Well, the 80s was a really cool, like what I really learned about it is that I love the 80s. I forgot how much I love the 80s. It's interesting for us to do this show together because we spent the 80s together, A
lot of it, yeah.
So, weird.
No, it was really, it was cool to go down. This was a really hard top 10 for me to put together, I gotta say.
There
were a lot of songs that got booted off at the end for The Cure.
And everywhere I was, I gotta tell you, all in the last 2 weeks when I was getting this list together and getting ready for the show, people would come around the corner and go, how about this song? Oh my God, this song. And like, I'm like, what are you even listening outside the door for? Everywhere. Yeah. So also, as always, as usual, don't forget to like us down here somewhere. It's down here. And it's over there.
I don't know.
It's at the back. And and don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe because then you get to see what's coming next, which is really fun. And we're so inspired by doing this 80s show. Who knows what we'll be doing next? So if you have any ideas and you want to write anything in our little listy, we'll do it.
Anyway, guys, that's the 80s. We'll see you soon off the record. B-side.